Okay, so here we are in Act 1, Scene 2 of Shakespeare's Macbeth, and we still haven't met Macbeth himself, although we're starting to learn a little more about him, because in this scene what we get is a report from a battle that has taken place sometime between Scene 1 and Scene 2 of the first act. And one of the things that I want you to notice here is that Macbeth's, the first mention of him here is him as brave Macbeth, this quote that I've highlighted down there. And just a little tip for you for your critical essay writing, that a little phrase like brave Macbeth, and there are others in this scene, valiant cousin, there we are at the top of page 7, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman, this line here. These little phrases that refer specifically to Macbeth are going to be very useful when you're writing your essay as just variations of saying, you don't want to be writing your essay and just saying Macbeth, Macbeth, Macbeth again and again and again. What's be nice to do is to, instead of just writing Macbeth, you could just write brave Macbeth or worthy gentleman. And in this way, by kind of peppering your essay with these little quotes, you kind of show that you have a good knowledge of the play, as well as making your writing a bit more interesting. So just a little tip there. In this scene, what we learn from the sergeant, as it is in this version of the text, is that the battle that has taken place was kind of in this kind of doubtful, uncertain place, and we didn't know who was going to win, and then Macbeth made the decisive action which won the day in at least the first part of the battle for the king. And so we have a very positive view of who Macbeth is at this stage. He appears to be this loyal, noble warrior. And the interesting thing is that the first time we hear Macbeth's name mentioned in the previous scene, he's mentioned by the witches, who are saying that they're planning to meet him. And so, as I mentioned in the last video, that we have this sense of ambiguity being established about who Macbeth really is. How can this man be both a loyal, noble, brave warrior on the king's behalf, and yet the witches and all the supernatural evil that they represent, he's somehow connected to them. So there's a kind of ambiguity about who he is that's established right from the beginning. And one quote that I want to just can draw your attention to, the basic situation of the battle that's described here is that there was the first part of the battle in which one of the noblemen in Scotland at this time rose up against the king, and then that rebellion was kind of subdued in the initial part of the battle by Macbeth, and Banquo was also mentioned too. But at that moment, just when the king's forces felt that they had won the day, the King of Norway, aided and abetted by the Thane of Cawdor, took their opportunity, thinking that the king's forces will be tired. This will be a perfect opportunity to launch a second attack. And the way that's described by the captain or the sergeant here is really interesting. The lines that I'm referring to are, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. And what he's saying is the very moment where we appeared to have found comfort, to have found victory, that precise moment was the moment where discomfort arrived, where the battle broke out again. And this is, in a sense, a little foreshadowing of what is ahead in Macbeth, because of course Macbeth is the person in this scene that we see bringing comfort, bringing victory to the king, and yet he is the very he is the very person who will end up committing this terrible act of treachery. Instead of saving the king, as he does as we hear him doing in this scene, he will actually destroy him. So there's a little we call that foreshadowing, just a little indication of what is to come. And you can see there at the end of the scene, noble Macbeth, another little quote that would be useful for you to take a note of, going to be useful for you in your critical essays. Okay, so that's Act 1 and Scene 2.